Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokce Capital. Now before I begin, be sure to click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. If you were to walk past Nevada's state capitol building on a February day in 2010, you would find Jan Gilbert on the street outside, holding a clutch of miniature Canadian flags. What was she doing? We'll find out at the end of this video. But first, if you own mineral rights, you may need to pay mineral rights taxes. And in today's video, we have the top things you need to know. Number 1, what are mineral rights taxes? Mineral rights taxes are any and all of those taxes that will be assessed to you as the owner of mineral rights. Number 2, what are the different types of mineral taxes you may need to pay? The first, of course, would be income taxes. When you own mineral rights, you can lease them out. As part of the lease agreement, you can request a certain percentage of the profits from any minerals extracted, the royalties. The income you earn from mineral royalties is subject to federal income taxes, and in many circumstances, state income taxes as well. Property taxes. In some jurisdictions, you may need to pay property taxes on your mineral rights. Or, alternatively, you may pay higher property taxes because the inclusion of mineral rights increases the assessed value of your property. And severance taxes. These are taxes owed when minerals are extracted. Whoever is actually extracting the minerals will need to pay this if it is in effect in your jurisdiction. Number 3, what are the tax implications of selling mineral rights? Profits from the sale of mineral rights are viewed as a capital gain, not income. Thus, as with the sale of any real estate, you will need to pay taxes on the profit you receive. Number 4, what are the tax implications of holding mineral rights? In many cases, income taxes and severance taxes are only assessed on properties that are actively producing oil or gas. This means that if you hold mineral rights but are not using them, the tax implications may be fairly minimal. However, once you begin extracting minerals, oil, or gas, you will need to pay income taxes on any royalty income you receive, and maybe even a severance tax if you are the one extracting the minerals yourself. So, it's always a good idea to check what the local regulations are and speak with a local real estate attorney as well as your accountant and make sure that you appropriately report and pay any required taxes. And finally, number 5, what are some additional tax consequences you should consider in the context of mineral rights? Depletion, which refers to the amount of mineral reserves that are used up through the extraction process over time. When depletion occurs, less oil or gas or minerals are available to extract. Recognizing this, the IRS allows you to deduct depletion from your income taxes. Charitable giving. If you gift your income from mineral rights leases and royalties to a charity, then that gift can be tax deductible. Multiple oil and gas contracts. Owning more than one property where you lease the mineral rights and receive royalties could have tax complications. And audits. If you report a significant income stream from royalty payments, you could be at increased risk for an audit as well. So, whenever you are making money from your mineral rights, take extra care when you are filing your tax return to make sure everything is in order. Of course, sometimes there are no or very low mineral taxes. And while this may seem like a great deal for you as a landowner, the real beneficiaries are often not individuals. Which brings me back to Jan Gilbert, standing at the corner of the Nevada Capitol building with her Canadian flags. If you were to walk past her, she would likely offer you one of these flags as well as a paper, which read in bold letters, "Statement from one of our Canadian mining shareholders." The message started with a big thank you to Nevada legislators for strengthening the lock the hard rock mining industry has on the state's politics. Even as we Canadian mining corporations made billions in your state last year, we got to pay next to nothing, the paper further adds. Jan, of course, is not a shareholder. Rather, she is the co-founder of the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada, a coalition of labor and environmental groups that seek no less than to raise mining taxes on gold by a factor of 7. You see, in Nevada, the Constitution mandates that mining companies pay no more than 5% of their profits in minerals taxes. Compare this to the state's gaming industry, which pays an annual tax of 6.7% on total gross revenue, not just profits. Indeed, between 2000 and 2008, Nevada's mining companies pulled $31 billion worth of gold from under the mountains, yet the entire industry paid just $201 million in taxes. For a comparison, if Nevada's gold miners had instead paid a severance tax of 5% on the gross value of all gold extracted, Nevada would have received not the paltry $201 million that it got from the industry, but $1.5 billion. Money that would have been critical to a state that struggled with an $887 million deficit. This question of how to tax mining, and gold in particular, is very important in Nevada, where fully 4/5 of the gold excavated in the United States comes from. Nevada first tried to regulate mining in 1861, just a few years after Henry Comstock laid claim to a vein of silver ore under Virginia City. Hundreds of young men were swarming to the state in order to make it rich, and the governor needed a way to fund a small police force. He wanted to pay for it with a tax on the mine's gross production, but the best he could get was a tax on net profits. Years later, this favorable tax was solidified through the General Mining Act of 1872, which declared mining the best use of the land and afforded it numerous privileges, including the right to exploit claims on other people's property and mine public land without paying royalty fees to the federal government. At the time, this law, like the Homestead Act, was designed to attract more settlers to the sparsely populated state. Today, however, Nevada is a highly urbanized state, well aware that its gold reserves won't last forever. And should Nevada not collect and invest some of the revenue these resources generate now, it risks future economic dependency on gambling. This is why you would find Jan Gilbert standing by the state capitol building on a February afternoon, handing out flags. And though her campaign did not result in substantial change in 2010, the tides were shifting. And in 2021, the legislature found a way around the constitutional cap on tax hikes for gold miners. They simply created a new kind of tax, not a mineral rights or severance tax, but an excise tax that would effectively double what gold and silver companies pay to the state and raise an additional $85 million to fund Nevada's schools. Though the legislation is not as extensive as Jan may have hoped for, it's still seen by many as a major win. As Nevada's first governor said, that the mines should contribute their fair portion of the public burden cannot be doubted. And now Nevada is a step closer to ensuring this is the case. But what do you think? Do you have any stories on mineral rights taxes? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? You're going to love our Gokce Land Due Diligence program. We'll make you a land due diligence expert in just 7 days. Check it out at gokcecapital.com/glad. And while you're at our website, don't forget to explore our $1 down listings at gokcecapital.com/listings. Finally, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email, call, or text, and we will respond as soon as possible. So thank you for listening, and more to come.